if you don't stop and you keep learning, you can do anything. Like if you don't stop and you continuously improve in what you do, then I believe you can have whatever it is that you want to have. So long as you continually treat people with the utmost care and respect along your journey, because you never know when you're gonna bump into someone. You never know when you're gonna, what rooms the nurturing of relationship is going to allow you to exist in, or allow your name to exist in a positive light. Um, I was watching something, and at the end of it, they asked someone what the fundamental rule or law, if there was one thing that they could say they owed their progression to, um, what would they say that it is? And so perhaps when I'm at a stage that such questions are being asked to me, I will have forgotten exactly what it is. Not that drove me, but again, that fundamental truth that you believe to be so certain that you're willing to bet your life and execute against that law being true. For me, it's that. It's if you don't stop and you always get better, whether you win or you lose. You win, you get better. You lose, you get better. So if it's a constant progression and improvement, as in a constant pressing toward and an improvement of the press itself, if those two things are true, then the outcome of being such is a constant improvement in the direction of whatever it is that you may desire. Eventually, over a long enough time horizon, ending up in the attainment of the thing that you desire. Naval Ravikant asked the question, if you're so smart, then why aren't you happy? And that question goes to the very core of intelligence, intelligence in its essence is your ability to design and craft and then live in the life that you want, right? So if you're so smart, then why haven't you made the life that you want to live in? And why aren't you living it? Why are you not living, doing things in a space environment that makes you happy? So the three major questions that we want to tackle as we progress into this life thing is, what do you want to do with your life? um, where do you want to do it? Like, where geographically would you like to be? Are you one of those people like to bounce around? Is there a particular place within your country that you'd like to be? Is there a particular place within your city? Is, like, where? And lastly, but perhaps the most important, with whom? Who are you going to surround yourself with, and who do you want on this journey with you? If you can get those three things right, then I think you're a lot closer to living a happy and fulfilled life. I think something that's very important, which I am applying all the time to my life and to the way that I'm moving forward now, is cognitive dissonance. Is when your thought, speech, and action are not aligned. That trinity that we speak of. I think this year, the number one theory I want to test, right? Because we test ourselves against these things constantly. I talked about last semester, like the first semester of last year, it being the most miserable that I'd ever been, regardless of the amount of success that I was able to achieve in terms of all the goals that I'd set in the beginning of the year, that were quite ridiculous goals, to be real with you, and I superseded in some ways and fell short in others, but ended up overall being a very successful first off of the year, and I was miserable. And so I thought the solution to that may have been that I was too hard on myself. I constrained myself too much. Let me maybe be a bit looser in my approach and allow myself to, stray from the game plan a little bit and indulge in some of the things that can take us away from the path. Maybe going away from the path for a little bit is healthy, and it keeps you sharp, keeps you focused, keeps you alive, keeps you human. That turned out not to be the truth either, in terms of still was able to achieve decent results, maybe not as decent as we would have liked to. And partially, like a part of that, I feel like I lost a lot of moments in time, a lot of spaces, a lot of moments that I should have and could have been present for. But I don't regret not being there for those moments, because I take the lessons that can be gained from not being in those moments, and I value them a lot more than being in that moment. Meaning the moments could have happened in spaces where I could have been recovered from whatever hangover I had. I could have been, available for whatever reason, but they didn't. They happened in such a way that the life that I was living affected um, my pursuit of my purpose. And I'm grateful that that happened that way, because the fact that it did is the reason why I've learned what I've learned, which is what I'm going into this year with, which is that alignment, which is that taking myself seriously. That's one thing that I'd like to do. That's one thing that I'm dedicating myself to, because I took my craft very seriously last year. I've been taking my craft, my gym life, my work life, my businesses, like all of that, my improvement in every avenue. I've been taking those things very seriously for a few years now, but I've never truly taken myself seriously and just stuck to my guns, just really been a man of my word to myself. I've always kept the persona up, and I've done more than that. I've done more than keep the persona up. But there are moments when I wavered, and I knew that I was wavering, and I accepted that for myself. No more. I shall no longer tolerate such behavior for myself. Ultimately, that's the ultimate truth that I've gotten to at this moment in time. And I do believe that in living within my greatness and my purpose and the pursuit of that something great will come of it, and something great will become of me. And that's something that I'm willing to bet a lot against. So that fundamental truth, that if you continue, because the truth is, man, with all this, I have no idea how to get a million people involved in anything, but no one does in the beginning. And you just have to start, and you have to continue to believe that you are going to have the ability to figure it out when the moment comes. And that's been true thus far. And I'm betting that, in combination with taking myself seriously for once in life, that continual learning and progression will bring forth uh, a version of myself that is able to handle any challenge and that is able to rise to any occasion. I'm able to show up for myself for once in each of those moments, through truth, through transparency, through really being about what I say. Yeah, yeah. Legacy Africa, description down below. If you want a shirt, grab one. Network incoming, some tools incoming. There's an entire thing that's being built around this thing. So I'm super excited for that. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. I have been Sage, standing on business. Signing out.